Good morning. Welcome to SJU. It's Thursday. Roth Cornett is on assignment. I'm Joe Starr. Joining me, Dan Murrell to my left.
Hi. Crunching numbers as always, Joe.
Just doing the... Man, you really are.
You
really are crunching the numbers.
5 minutes.
It's crazy.
That's a lot of numbers. Spencer J. Gilbert, no numbers on your page?
Not a numbers crossed my brain.
No. Danielle Radford, numbers, yes, no?
I don't even know what a number is, apparently.
Yeah.
Dan literally sat down. He's been looking at his paper, and I thought he was reading it, and it turns out he's been doing highly complicated box office math.
Not true.
He's going to break us into the upside down. Guys, a lot more than just math happening today on this very special math-oriented edition of SJU, where we just review our times tables. We'll also be talking about Ready Player One and how big it will be opening, which is numbers. Okay, it's just a numbers SJU.
Is life all just numbers?
Life is numbers.
Life is numbers.
Wonder Woman 2, which also has a number in it, casts a new male lead. And someone's been cast as Duke Nukem, but you can't see him. Plus, it's Nostalgia Week, and I will be irritating the piss out of the table with my Steven Spielberg pick. So let's get to our first story. How big will Ready Player One be this weekend? Spielberg's Ready Player One has opened with $3.8 million at 3,500 North American locations in Wednesday night previews. The sci-fi fantasy is projected to open with $45 million over its 4-day opening weekend, which should dominate the box office over the Easter holiday period. Warner Brothers Ready Player One expands to 4,200 locations Thursday and is launching day and date internationally in 62 markets. So it's had this really, really solid debut with positive reviews. Dan, is it a contender? How's it going to do?
It's gonna do probably about. I was just trying to pull up something comparable. The Mummy had a similar preview that was in the summer, which is a different season.
This is Tom Cruise or Brendan Fraser?
Tom Cruise's Mummy. That made a $31 million, had a $31 million 3-day weekend. However, this movie has much better reviews than The Mummy did. Annabelle Creation had about $4 million in previews. That made about $35 million over 4 days. But there's a lot of people that are going to be out of school tomorrow for Good Friday, and a lot of colleges are out as well. So, it's going to be a pretty robust day. And, $45 million, it's certainly more than what the early tracking was saying on this movie. So that is indicative of, hopefully good word of mouth. The reviews, again, have been positive, not glowing, but positive. Right now, it's at 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, an average rating around 7, which is good. That indicates, good reviews, not, oh my God. But the other thing is obviously going to be word of mouth once the cinema score is revealed, what audiences are actually thinking of it. But definitely, I think, in line for a better performance than some people thought it might have, but it's not going to blow the doors off unless, it becomes this sensational smash over the weekend just purely from word of mouth, which very possible, when we reviewed the movie. I don't know what the audience reaction to this movie is going to be. I could see it going both ways.
Okay. Well, Danielle, you have also seen it. Spencer, I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. Okay, then you and I will be quiet for this portion of the conversation. Danielle, you've seen it. Do you think that this will sort of be like a decent Easter weekend box office and then it drops off, or do you think it's got some staying power?
No, I think that it's definitely going to be good for Easter weekend. Like, people are off, people are doing things. I really don't know. It is a very fun movie. It's something to kind of get people through until the next, Avengers comes out. There are some good performances. It's really, really fun. It's not going to be like a huge cultural phenomena, I don't think. I feel like most people who are really, really into it will have seen it the first weekend. But I think it'll still do decent.
Okay.
It is, if you're movie passionate, or if you're looking for a movie to watch, it is just like a fun sit there and be hit with waves upon waves of Nostalgia Week.
Well, it's a big screen movie. I think it's something
it is a big screen movie.
You
need to see it on the big screen.
And that might be where a lot of its strength lies. Is people saying, like, you really need to go see this.
This isn't a red box.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would say out of all of the movies, and I don't know how many theaters or if any theaters are offering this in that 4D where they, like, spit in your face or whatever it is they do and, like, blow stuff on you.
Usher spits in your face.
Yeah. This would be the movie that I would say, go see this in a 4D.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this would be a movie.
The Iron Giant, like, when the Iron Giant torches people with a flamethrower, the Usher just, like, lights a Zippo next to your face.
And then all of a sudden you ain't got no eyebrows. Yeah, exactly like that. It's because it is so pretty and because... if you're dealing with things in a virtual world, why not put yourself in the same position that the characters are in? This would be a 4D movie.
Yeah. definitely.
So a lot of people are calling this a return to form for Spielberg. One, did he need to return to form? And two, is this a return to the form that he may or may not needed to return to?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. He's not. I mean, Spielberg form, peak form. People are thinking of from 75 to 95. I mean, nobody.
That
has ever
small window.
Been, yeah. But I mean, nobody's ever had a run like that as far as box office and critical success. So I think it's definitely returned to form in the sense that he's been making much smaller, more intimate projects, largely in the past 10 years. And this is a return to spectacle. This is a return to big budget. I'm going to blow your mind out of your brain, like swing for the fences, crazy stuff on screen Spielberg. Yeah, 100%. And it is a reminder that nobody does big screen spectacle like Spielberg. Smartly designed and he's kind of like Hitchcock, but not with suspense. He's like Hitchcock with like dinosaurs and big things. He knows how to push those buttons, man. He's got that sense, and that is a return in that sense to Spielberg's form for me with this movie.
So leading into this, we've talked a lot about this, that the marketing has mainly just been nostalgia based. And they never really changed that strategy. So, I mean, do you guys think going into this, Spencer, that's going to be enough?
Well, I thought they did. They released another trailer closer to the release that focused on the relationship between Parzival and what's her face? What's the female read? Artemis. Yeah. It's got a 3 because she's a hacker.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was the best trailer yet because it gave me something to hook onto of why I would go see this movie beyond
aside from it's Alf
references. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too little, too late because already the internet had declared, with some choice passages from the book itself, that this was just reference soup and that was all it had. But I think that last one maybe swayed me personally that they were Spielberg's gonna clamp onto the meatier themes of this book and then just look the Iron Giant.
Okay, well, I mean, so you guys have seen it. From what I understand, it's not just like an adaptation of the book. Steven Spielberg sort of taken the premise and. So, I mean, has he built something bigger without sort of getting into review territory? I mean, what can people expect?
It's its own thing. It's not just a transcription of the book. It certainly has sequences. One in particular that, as I said in my review, was my favorite, but that I think there's going to be a lot of people getting real angry about. That I love, that was not in the book in any way, shape, or form. It is very much a Steven Spielberg kind of creation as far as the cinematic thing goes. I hated the way that Film Twitter treated this movie and tweeted this movie before it came out, because you're right, they would take one passage from the book and be like, I guess this is what passes for literature in the 21st century, and just like, it's like, yes, that's a paragraph with a bunch of references in it. That's not the entire book, and this was kind of written off in many circles as like, oh, well, this pop culture wank off. No, thank you, sir. And
I like that all of Film Twitter is the Dowager
That's
Countess.
how I read Film Twitter in my head sometimes.
What is a weekend?
There is a healthy
weekend box office.
There's a healthy amount of Look the Iron Giant in this movie, definitely. I think a little too much for my taste.
A little too much.
Often,
too much.
you don't need to say the thing always that you're showing on the screen.
Sure.
So it does go a little overboard, but I disagree with the narrative that it's like all this movie has going for it is nostalgia. I think that's a very healthy part of what the movie is, but I also think that they tie it into the story in a believable way. It's a little too much, but I would say that if you've written it off as just a nostalgia wank, and we'll see how it does at the box office, see how many people did, I would say that's a little unfair to write it off as just that.
It still has the core themes of both the book and the Spielberg everything.
Yeah.
Friendship, scrappy kids coming together and making stuff happen, and a couple of like really cute surprises and blah blah blah. At the heart of it, it's still there's still the story of friendship can do anything. I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything by saying that that's a thing that Spielberg super likes. I don't feel like you guys feel very shocked when I
thought
say
lust for power could do everything. What?
Oh.
It's just very much like. Friendship is more important than yada yada, which I think is a huge theme in like the book, and it's a huge theme in all the trailers. And So it does hit on an emotional core. It isn't just like flashcards of, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly.
It does come very close in a lot of scenes, though.
It comes perilously close to tipping over the edge.
It's real close. It is a razor's edge of just like,
Okay.
do you remember this guy? Do you remember this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been sold on just being curious at this point, and rarely do I go, everybody's shouting about this one, I've got to see it. But on this one, I'm honestly kind of curious. Spencer, do you want to go with me see Ready Player One, buddy?
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
I mean, I guess, do you want to
right
host?
now.
Or-
Okay.
Let's move on. I don't have a segue to this. I just couldn't come up with one. But Wonder Woman 2 has cast a man, a Dornish man, from Dorne. Director Patty Jenkins is bringing on Game of Thrones Pedro Pascal for a key role in her Wonder Woman sequel starring Gal Gadot. The Narcos star is on board for the follow-up to 2017's hit, joining Kristen Wiig, who was tapped for the villain role of Cheetah. This is the second time Pascal and Jenkins have worked together. His character is being kept under wraps, as is most of the story, but what we do know is that Wonder Woman 2 will be set in the 80s.
Nostalgia porn! I guess this is what passes for superheroes in the 21st century.
Someone please gift that and throw a monocle on it.
I love that.
Just for me.
The Dan Woodger Countess. I love this new character. I want him to fight Scoops, like in an old-timey boxing match.
I've never seen him in the same place.
And yeah, it's weird, right?
They're very reclusive.
It is really weird. You have to do that character for the remainder of the story, by the way. So it'll be set during the final days of the Cold War, and will feature the return of Chris Pine as Steve Trevor.
That's not possible.
Okay.
I'm gonna just cross that sentence
Flashback.
I wish. Yeah, that'll be it. That'll be a
That
Oh,
can't be
Bizarro
true.
Steve Trevor. Bizarro Steve
Oh,
Trevor. Bizarro
I am
Steve
into
Trevor.
that. It's unclear if Pascal's character will be another
I don't
ally to
believe
Diana or an antagonist working against her. Sure. I mean, those are the only two options.
Or
really.
something sexily in between.
Ooh, that's what I'm hoping. Give me that one.
It's unclear if his character will be a character or a character that is related to Diana in some way, shape, or form.
In her movie.
In her movie, Wonder Woman 2, directed by Patty Jenkins. I like this cast. Let's all say something nice about Pedro Pascal. Spencer, you go first.
He's got that it factor, Joe.
He really does.
He's a star.
He's a star. Danielle, you like that, Pedro?
He's real dreamy and he's good with a stick.
He is. He is. I wanted him to be Doctor Strange. Dan?
He was a good cowboy in Kingsman 2.
That he was. With zero other information, so that I make Billy, our producer, happy and keep the show on for longer than 30 minutes. Let's find other ways to talk about Pedro Pascal and his unknown role in this unknown movie. Will he have a funny dance scene with Kristen Wiig? Spencer?
No, but they will have, a trial by combat between him and Kristen Wiig, and it'll just be a shot-for-shot recreation of him versus the Mountain, but the Mountain will be just Kristen Wiig, and
She'll be dressed in a cheetah leotard, giggling.
Yeah, so otherwise exactly the same scene.
I dig it. I dig it. Let's see here. Will Pedro have a whip or a spear, like his other two characters we know?
He will have
Or a
a new
narco.
weapon, a whip spear.
Big line of cocaine.
Big line of coke.
Yeah, big line of cocaine. He'll have the whip spear, which is
Okay.
part whip, part spear.
All fear.
All fear.
Dangerous.
It's just gonna look like that thing that Scorpion does when he's
Yeah,
like,
over
finish
here.
him,
Yeah.
get over here.
I like that. I like that a lot. And then.
Oh no.
Finally, Dan, will Wonder
Yes.
Woman be in this movie with Pedro Pascal and Kristen Wiig?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like we're going into spoiler territory here, but I will predict that yes, Wonder Woman will make an appearance.
Okay. Are you really happy that they're setting this in another decade like the X-Men films?
Well, I mean, at least they're not like causing continuity issues with like, oh, the X-Men, it's been 30 years, but no one's aged.
Yeah.
Except for Professor X, but not Magneto. It's very strange.
It definitely does work for her
It
because she
is-
does not age.
You know, it is. I don't like the thing though of just like, here's the origin story of why Wonder Woman went into exile from the world of humanity after this tragic incident and never revealed herself
Yeah.
again till the world was in peril.
Asterix.
Except for this one other time. That for me is just like, all right, you'll have to I'm kind of on my guard a little bit. Like
They did
and I'm
lean
not
into
saying
that.
they can't, but they do need to give extra care into how
just
they write this thing
Move
to
on.
justify
Move forward
that.
from here. She's we've set her up. She's great. She's in the modern day with Justice League. Like let's just keep going.
Yeah, I like Spy Diana though. I like that's where
Yeah,
I'm because
that-
there
that's
was
where
a
I wanted
whole
to take
run.
you.
Yeah, there was like a what was it, that 1960s run
Yeah.
where she like dressed all mod and she was like Diana, but I'm also a spy.
Yeah, she was totally spies.
So and so I kind of like that idea where she's like, I went into hiding, then there was this like one mission where I had to be like super sneaky and couldn't be a wonder. I had to be,
Sneaky. Yeah.
Sneaky.
So it's kind of
Sneaky
like
woman.
it's Wonder Woman Atomic Blonde.
Yeah,
A little bit
maybe.
at the end of the Cold War.
That could be fun.
Over under on Pedro Pascal being a big CGI monster in the third act that
Guaranteed.
yells 80s references.
Oh, 100%. And as soon as he's about to throw, the whip, the spear whip of destiny through her heart, Steve Trevor's gonna parachute down.
I was up there the whole time.
I've been in the clouds.
I like this.
And he's gonna whisper in her ear, and the things will proceed.
I like. You know what? Why doesn't anyone ever call us about just writing this stuff?
Yeah,
We just wrote the whole thing.
Yeah,
Call
we
us.
just punch this up.
Asterix, obviously we're excited about this movie. We're just having a little fun because there's nothing really to talk about in it aside from we like Pedro Pascal and you should watch Narcos. Speaking of guys you should like, John Cena is not the new Duke Nukem. He's the first Duke Nukem. Subheadline:
Yep.
How the f you make a Duke Nukem now, or why? Okay, before we get into that. Oh boy.
He looks
I
like
like Bart.
JTE going back and forth. Like,
He definitely
Yeah.
looks like
yeah,
Duke
he
Nukem.
looks like put some
He
sunglasses
does.
on him, and he definitely looks like Duke.
Yeah, no, he does actually look like a 90s PC game character come to life. Or depending on what games you played. Hollywood producers Andrew Form and Brad Fuller are working to change the Duke Nukem-ness of Duke Nukem, I guess, which is okay. And in a new interview, Form explains how they're taking their cues from 20th Century Fox's Deadpool and the struggle of adapting such a crass character for the big screen. Speaking with Cinema Blend, he said the following large paragraph. We are working on Duke Nukem right now. It's going to be about tone. That's about tone. How do you nail the... He's saying tone so much.
He's saying
how do you
tone
nail
so
that,
much.
How do you nail that tone in the way that Deadpool nailed that tone? I think... We've got tone. We've got tone.
I got lock.
You've got tone lock?
Goose.
I've got tone low.
I've got tone.
Tony.
I think we have to do that, and if we don't get the tone right, then we're not going to make the movie. You know that having a misogynistic guy in today's world, how do you make that fun and lovable? And at the same time, he's got to be an incredible badass. So those are the things that we're struggling with, and we're going to try to come out with what I hope is a really fun ride. That's the goal. Is it for it to be a really fun ride? This is like the preamble to someone who's just going to throw themselves out the window, I think. Like, this is...
This doesn't sound like a movie that's going to actually happen.
No, I don't think so either.
Just like the games, the Duke Nukem Forever, man. It was delayed, and there was just like it's coming, and like 20 years later, and then it just came on like a wet fart and went away just as quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, before we get into CENA, we can talk about CENA and acting in a minute. Let's talk about a Duke Nukem movie first.
If they do it like a Johnny Bravo style action movie where like he's the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
That's how you have to do it.
Okay. All right. Doesn't he? But it's so interesting because it's like such a confluence of interesting things happening right now. Because doesn't he shoot cops for the whole video? Isn't he shooting pigs in cop uniforms?
Yes, he
Aren't
is.
those like the main bad guys
And
of
just-
Duke Nukem?
yeah.
But he's also a misogynist. Like it's just gonna explode everyone's brain.
It's people are gonna. I was the key demographic for the first Duke Nukem game, and I think after the first 8-bit strip club.
Yeah.
Like I got past that and was like, cool, I'm a grown up now. But then immediately got bored with the game. Like there's only kind of so far you can take Duke Nukem. Dan, you a Duke Nukem fan?
No, I never played. I was never allowed to play the Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
So that picture, that animation that JTE showed is literally the only exposure to Duke. That's literally the only exposure. That advertisement on the back cover of a comic book is as much exposure as I've ever had to Duke Nukem. So I don't know. I think I remember them dreamcasting this movie in Wizard magazine when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was Arnold, wasn't it?
And it was Arnold. So
Yeah.
and it still hasn't been made. So nothing really. It makes me inclined to believe that it's going to be made now. But
I'd watch Old Man Duke Nukem with Arnold now.
Yeah.
Old Man Nukem.
Yeah.
Old Man Nukem.
I think that's how you do the he's the butt of the joke crass thing, is because he comes in and shoots like an alien and he's like, nice ass baby, and everyone's like, oh, you're 80. Like it's weird. It's weird, Old Man Duke Nukem.
Yeah, or like a thing where like you take Duke Nukem directly out of the time he was created and then put him in. I'm interested because John Cena is very careful about, like, he has a very well crafted, very careful public persona.
Yeah.
And so they would have to be doing something that wasn't that, and he would have to have confidence in it, I think, for him to risk his very family-friendly, I do the most make-a-wishes that anyone's ever done ever.
Yeah.
But also sometimes I'll walk down the street and talk about how all Americans are American and we should love each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very well-crafted image, so he, as much as he's trying to break in, he don't need the money. So I'm very interested his involvement, honestly, is what makes me think that they must be doing something. They must be hitting the tone that tones do when you try to hit a tone with a tone.
he is going to be butt chugging a beer next week, though,
That's
in
also
another
true.
movie. So
That's
maybe
fair.
he's willing to
That's fair.
stretch it a little bit.
He's also very good at being the butt of the joke.
Yes.
So I think that could work. I think he's really, really good at that. And, now the more we're talking about it, I kind of like the idea of like this mid-90s extreme character coming to the modern world and everybody being like, no, man. And plus he already has the jorts on, and I feel like that's a very good mid-90s wardrobe for Duke Nukem.
Jorts will never die.
Yeah.
Shorts.
But I think to modernize him, he's got to co-op someone else's action lines, because the original game was just a whole lot of they live lines.
Right.
Yeah,
So what's
like, give me some sugar, baby.
Yeah, and a lot of ash. Yeah, it was just a cross section of everything we liked in like 1996.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what's he gonna steal now?
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever, baby.
Wakanda forever. It's good. That's the one. Yeah. Okay, we're done there. Guys, get ready for a lot more revivals on television because everyone in the world watched the Roseanne revival. It brought in 18.2 million viewers, which drew 10% more viewers than the original series finale 21 years ago. Obviously, no one predicted such a huge turnout for the premiere night.
Wait, are both Beckys in this? Why am I seeing both Beckys?
Yes, both Beckys are in the picture.
Why am I seeing two Beckys? I
I
didn't watch the thing. So
I heard that they figured out a way to cast them both. I forgot that it was on. I missed it too.
Interesting. Do they just let's being people that haven't seen the show, don't tell us how in the comments, and let's just decide now. Do they just switch scene by scene?
One wakes up as Becky and then goes into a cryogenic sleep, and then another one wakes up and she is.
I
It's
like
like
that.
clean
Today's
slate.
Becky.
Every day Becky wakes up, she's a different Becky.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
And eventually we're gonna find out. It's sort of like a We Are All Becky situation.
We are
Yes.
all Becky.
They all turn into different Beckys.
We are
Yeah,
Becky.
John Goodman turns into Becky for an episode. No, I like.
Watched it.
Oh, JT
Oh.
watched it?
JT's
Oh.
got
Yeah,
Come on out.
I don't know how
Okay.
are two Beckys in this.
JT
I'm-
thinks.
JTE, you should have typed so in the lower third. We would have
Yeah.
brought you right out.
Sorry. Do you guys, first of all, want to hear what actually the two Beckys are doing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's
bring
better
us
than
up.
our version.
Spoiler alert for the new Roseanne.
Spoiler
Spoiler
alert.
for Roseanne. So basically, the old Becky is going to be a surrogate for a mother who can't have a kid, and it turns out the surrogate is the other Becky. So it's like they see each other and they're like, "Wow, you look just like me. My kid's gonna look just like you." Yada yada yada. The show was okay.
Smart.
Sounds like a sitcom.
JTE, ladies and gentlemen.
Spoilers over. You can come back now.
Spoilers. Roseanne spoilers are over. So, there are rumors, that there's a King of the Hill that could already be in the works. And right now, a lot of nostalgia TV is either miniseries form like X-Files, or it's on Netflix like Fuller House. Do you think, all bets are off now? Because they've got to be seeing the numbers on this, and someone's trying to do a Cheers revival, right?
Yeah.
Look, Urkel is in meetings as we speak.
Oh yeah.
I can still do this. I can still.
Oh, Jaleel.
I can still wear glasses. Look, you can only be Sonic for so many 20s of years before you have to go back to being
He's Sonic?
Urkel. Yeah, he's the voice of Sonic in one of the cartoons.
Oh.
He did
Did do
up in
that.
a movie recently. I can't remember. Billy Business, can you look up? Jaleel White was in a movie recently that I was surprised. He played a teacher. Oh, what was it? Okay, I'm gonna have to remember.
You'll
Anyway,
you'll
Billy Business
remember
is
it.
gonna look at it.
But-
well, Murphy Brown's coming back.
Right? Yeah,
They
Murphy's
ordered
coming
Murphy
back.
Brown. Will and Grace is back.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I think again, it's
He was 15-17 to Paris.
15-17 to Paris. Yes, he was a
Nice.
teacher in Clint
Okay.
Eastwood's The 15-17 to Paris. It's very weird.
That is
to
very
see him
strange.
pop up in that movie.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because he's still very much Jaleel White.
I'm giving you another chance.
Not that he shouldn't. I just was not expecting Jaleel White to pop up in that.
Tried
movie.
to get Stefan Urkel, but he was unavailable. So I'll take this nerd.
If you ask me if I've got any cheese, the answer is no.
Where's Laura? He's always asking about this Laura.
I want your Clint Eastwood to hang out with Dan's Danton Abbey movie critic character. I like it a lot. Is there a sitcom that could come back? Because in the original run, Roseanne was a cultural juggernaut. Is there another sitcom that could take that on? Like
Seinfeld. Bring back Seinfeld.
okay.
I think that it's a show about nothing. It's infinitely flexible. They could totally kind of like pick up right where they left off, judging by the Curb Your Enthusiasm mini reunion.
Yeah.
And I guess, look, on one sense, I'm super annoyed by all these revivals because I think that they're just kind of lazy cash grabs, and there is no reason to do them except for nostalgia purposes. But there's so many shows on TV. It's not like movies where, like, if you get it's like a zero sum. You get a remake, so you don't get something original. Like, there's plenty of television out there. If you still want to see Murphy Brown shoulder pads in 2018,
Well,
fine.
But we're not even going back that far. They're already talking about a reboot of The Office, which just ended.
They already brought
Yeah.
back American Idol. It was gone for like 6 months.
Yeah.
They're like, America, remember the show? Like, yeah, we canceled it because
was-
we were sick of it.
It was Thursday,
a year
right?
ago. Yeah, like of course we remember. We stopped watching it. That's why you stopped making it, or Fox did. And IBC's like, but what if it's like Tobias? But what if we did it?
I can't wait until next week they announce a reboot of Steve Harvey's Little Big Shots. Like, remember this cultural touchstone from 2 weeks ago?
I guess if they do like Christmas specials, I could be into it. If it's just like if they want to do a Friends like Christmas special where they all get together, I can't wait until they decide to go and do How I Met Your Mother. Because that's going to definitely happen. And then, like, it'll be the kids on the couch just like, man, Dad stopped talking about Mom.
And he
About
hasn't seen
2
us.
minutes. And can we just do the whole series from their eyes where they're just, like, sitting there and you're just watching, like, an old dude talk about some, like, lady
Yeah, it's
that's
like a
not your
weird
mom?
avant-garde. It'd be
Yeah.
Saget, right? Because he
It's
narrated
Bob
it.
Saget,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
Bob Saget.
Yeah, but no, at the end, they reveal that it was what's his name all along, and then he has his voice, and it's dumb. But I would love that. They're just like hostages. Like, they did actually, no, I think for Funny or Die or someone did a sketch about that where they're just like sitting on the couch, and they're like, we have to pee. I've gone through puberty twice.
I
I don't know.
think it depends on what they've got to say. Because, like, on one hand, it's like, let's say you do a Cheers resurgence. Like, what are they like? It's going to be a couple
Who's
of the
alive
regulars
for that? Sorry.
I mean, Dancing, Woody,
Rhea Perlman.
Rita
Perlman,
Perlman.
yeah.
But what do they?
Okay.
They spend a minute going like, oh, now all these hipster kids are in here with their microbrews, and then where else do you
No
go?
one talks anymore. They're all on their iPads.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Ruh-roh.
But Roseanne smartly kind of positioned itself as, we're not just a revival, we're a counterpoint to a lot of the other programming you're going to see on TV, because Roseanne, they were very forthcoming about the fact that, like, well, the show kind of comes from a conservative point of view, whereas a lot of shows on TV don't. And I think that was smart for them to do that, was to, like, not only are we back, but we are the alternative point of view to a lot of the other things that you're seeing. So if you tune in, you're going to see, if you're not seeing yourself on these other shows, you're going to see yourself maybe on this show, which I think, again, if you're going to do this, that's kind of what I think you need to do if you want to succeed long term, is like, not just we're back, because as soon as 15 shows are back, people are going to stop caring. It's like, we're back and you should watch us because we're different this time as opposed to last time.
I'm curious how long Roseanne can sort of on Twitter and sort of the show's marketing in general can sort of like play that, because on one hand they're going, hey, come on over here, we're not liberal Hollywood or whatever, but then her tweets today have been like, our show's incredibly progressive and like New York and LA didn't watch it. There's an interracial couple. So like I'm curious how long they can sort of be like, we're serving all masters, or we're just playing to like one base or the other.
I'm also curious as to how long they're just gonna rein Roseanne in on Twitter. She's being very not Roseanne right now, and it's very interesting.
She's not
to
yelling
watch.
Nazi salute on a daily basis.
Just it's interesting. I'm interested to see how long she's gonna not that she needs the money either. She's got a nut farm, but like she does. That's a real thing. That's not me being sarcastic.
Roseanne's
She has a nut farm. It's not like that she needs the money, but it's interesting to watch when someone has been off of TV for a while, and the way that they act to suddenly when they're back on TV and the way that
big
they act,
publicity
just,
gets a hold of them.
Yeah. That is I think a manager's most important meeting they can have with their client, is that meeting where they're like, okay, Roseanne, you've been able to kind of say whatever for a while, but we want people to watch the thing. So and then they just have a nice PowerPoint presentation on can and can't tweets.
It just ends with money.
Yeah. If you do these things,
Money.
Well, I look forward to the return of dinosaurs, but they're all alt-right now.
yes. Alt-rightosaurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'm the baby. Guys, are we headed for a sitcom Ready Player One?
Oh, like an all-star sitcom team up?
Yeah.
That'd
my
be
God.
fun, like drafting a sitcom family.
Yeah.
We might have to do that in another episode.
Like the cartoon All-Stars.
yeah.
Well,
I would love that.
Anyone know? Just me?
no,
Cartoon
they
All-Stars?
taught people how not to do drugs,
not
and they
to
were
do
animated
drugs.
weird.
It was
Alvin
Winnie
and
Pooh
the
or
Ninja
the Care
Turtles,
Bears or
Winnie the
something?
Pooh, Alf,
Yep.
animated Alf.
Yeah.
They were all there, man.
But they are all oh man.
Oh, man.
That's why I never did drugs.
They were all there, man. You've been there.
Another reboot that's doing something
I
similar.
just sound like a hippie describing
yeah.
Woodstock.
Oh man.
Man,
They
they
were
They were all
Dylan.
there, man.
The turtles went electric. It was the time of my life. That's how I met your grandmother. Another revival doing something similar, Rocco's Modern Life.
Really?
Yeah,
It's back?
because they went to space at the end of the old series, and the idea is because of time, space, blah blah blah, they were gone for like 30 seconds, and now they're just back in the modern world.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm so excited
I think because
about
Rocco
that.
was really about, the alienation of consumer capitalism. So
Yeah.
that's more relevant now than ever.
was.
So for him to come right back down.
It kind of, there was an episode where their friend who was a chicken got a job at like a KFC, and then at the end of the episode, she was murdered and
Yeah.
turned into chicken.
That is a true story.
It's a dark show.
Real dark. I
real
loved
dark
it.
show.
I loved it.
Loved that show.
You turn the page, you wash your hands. Screen Junkies.
Join us tomorrow when we will just be talking about Rocco's Modern Life episodes. Guys, let's continue Nostalgia Week, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Yay, it's my turn. And the Steven Spielberg movie I will be talking about is my favorite Indiana
Wait,
Jones
to take
movie.
a big sip of water.
Yep.
And then...
The Temple of Doom. Guys, let me lead this off by saying I did not say that this is the best Indiana Jones movie. It's just my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I can't help it.
Look at Short Round.
Oh, sweet short round. Oh,
Yike.
look at these guys. Yep, all these problematic images.
Bottom, sugar them.
You betrayed Sheba. Kate ko. Look. One of the things about nostalgia is we're also nostalgic for a lot of garbage, and that's probably one of the strengths of Ready Player One as well. I can't imagine that every avatar in the Oasis was from Raiders of the Lost Ark of their respective franchises. Some of them had to be from the Temple of Doom of their respective franchises. I loved this movie when I was a kid. There's a lot to not like. JTE is audibly yawning in the booth.
Yeah, I love. We're on a good. We just hear. Come from the
Nailing it. JT and my dad every day watching the show.
Oh, hi, Mr. Starr.
Hi. I'm working on my real estate license, Dad. Working on my real estate license. There's a lot to hate about this movie, but there's a lot of goofiness. And no, it doesn't really set in the tone of the rest of the movies. But there's weird magic, and a guy tries to pull his heart out on a bridge. It has one of my favorite screw-up moments from Indiana where he just wraps up in a bridge, sees enemies coming in on other sides, and just sighs and says, "Oh, shit. It's one of my. That is one of the most underrated Indiana Jones lines. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Short Round. I did, man. The kid was a little badass.
It's impossible for so many reasons.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was. But when you're like 6 or 7 years old,
That's
and
very sweet.
You see
Yeah, that's very
like
sweet.
Indiana Jones' pal Short Round karate kick a guy into a lava pit. Like, yeah, I wanted to be that kid. He hit a big man with a chain and then saved some children.
And then also didn't have to go to school or whatever.
Yeah, right? Ugh, school.
Boo.
Short Round doesn't clean his room.
Yeah, Short Round didn't clean his room or get shots from the doctor.
He just got actually shot.
He just got actually
Probably at
shot.
some point.
Yeah, that kid's for sure was murdered in the next adventure.
Yeah.
This was also
Why do you think we never saw him again?
he didn't survive.
Didn't make it.
Or the reason why the plot is so crazy is that it was all a hallucination because he did not survive the raft trip from the plane. And in his last moments, he just hallucinated this whole adventure where Willie Scott became his mom at the end and shot his new parents with elephant water
it's getting dark.
and then died. It's got to go somewhere. I got to keep JTE interested. No, you know what? There's a place in my heart for sleeveless Indiana Jones.
Sure, if Indiana Jones and Raiders are elevated versions of those old serialized, jungle adventure comic strips and TV shows and stuff like that, this just is one.
Yeah.
It is like literally a throwback to another era. So
This is,
you're getting the raw stuff.
This
right
is
now.
literally, this was not Lucas and Spielberg riffing on the stuff that they grew up on. This
No,
is
this
literally just them making it.
Yeah.
You know what's scary? India. Like, let's roll with it. Yeah. No,
They eat
absolutely.
monkey brain.
Yay! Chilled monkey brains. Oh God, yeah. No, I wasn't woke when I was 8.
Weird if you were.
Yeah, some of those tastes have continued with me.
No, again, I don't
As a
think
grown
we're,
man, I understand
we're not
it.
all crapping on it. We're just
Yeah.
saying we had the chance to pick any Spielberg movie
Yeah.
of his entire filmography.
Look, you guys have known me long enough to know that I'm me. And I'm
day.
and
Don't
I'm gonna
apologize.
pick Temple of Doom. Plus, you picked Jurassic Park. So, and
Yeah, he did.
yeah, and I didn't want to talk about Saving Private Ryan for 20 minutes. I guess I could. It should have dogs in it. Talking dogs that that Tom Hanks goes to save. And I could say that as many times as I want now, because the Fire Nation is gone. So yeah, Dan, say something nice about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or you're fired.
First of all, you can't fire me.
That's true.
Secondly, I love the opening sequence. It's very James Bondian.
Yes, yeah.
Up until that
Anything goes.
falling out of the raft in the plane, it's top notch.
Good 20-minute Indiana Jones short film for you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I could shut it off after that and
Yeah.
be perfectly sated.
That's what I do with Stripes. After do wah diddy diddy dum diddy do and they graduate from the army. That's when that movie ends for me.
Yep, it's done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Spencer, why is Willie Scott your favorite of Indiana Jones's lady friends?
Wow, I mean the way she screamed when she was on that bridge that collapsed, unlike anyone else.
Yeah.
She's really top 10.
The will they won't they when she thinks he's gonna bang a statue instead of her.
Yeah.
I really love the chemistry. Guys, like I said, not the best Indiana Jones movie. Maybe the third best Indiana Jones movie, depending on how much you like Shia LaBeouf. But still one of my favorites. I don't know. Danielle, what's another piece of garbage that you like for no reason?
Well, first I'll say that this was my first Indiana Jones movie. So
Which chronologically is correct. That means this is the Tokyo Drift.
Yes,
Yeah, the sequence prequel.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yep.
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 Yeah. So for me, like this is always like I made the mistake of going back and watching it, and yeah. But for me, this was always my Indiana Jones, and in fact,
You did
I
not for
didn't
this, did
see-
you?
Oh no.
Okay, good God.
No,
Yeah.
sir. No, it was last year on accident, and I was like, "Oh no!" and turned it off very quickly.
So many times.
What's some garbage that I like? It's not Spielberg garbage, but if we're just naming '80s garbage, you know how much I love The Last Dragon, so
Yeah.
I understand
yeah.
your love
Yeah.
for garbage.
Yeah. Look,
Leroy.
as
Leroy?
if I can
Catches
own
bullets with his teeth.
watching
Go,
Three
go,
Ninjas
go.
every day for weeks and weeks, I can own really loving this one, guys. Not all of nostalgia's great. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And JTE taking his nap. Guys, how'd you feel about today's show?
He loves
says he
Temple of
loves
Doom.
Temple.
Thanks,
JTE
buddy.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
We're back on. We've got some fun things to watch this week for the kids. We've got a blockers junket on Maine where John Cena wore a very endearing suit and talked about his mom, and they decoded emojis.
They decoded emojis.
Which they were surprisingly good at, being older than us. I don't think...
better than me.
Yeah. We're supposed to be close enough to the emoji age that we should have been, like, decent at that, but...
Is that the age that comes after the modern age? The
Yes.
emoji age?
Yeah.
Emoji age.
Yeah.
Age
Yeah.
civilization.
Welcome to the emoji age! To the emoji age! Also, big news! Movie fights today.
Do you like our geographical position around this table? I hope
Seated?
so.
Yeah.
Because
This posture.
Roughly this number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you wish all Screen Junkies shows just friggin' looked like this? We have good news for you. They do again. We're back to, guys, not only are there 3 fighters, there's 3 judges, there's 6 chairs.
3 rounds?
3 rounds. 3 strikes on rude comments until we ban you. I mean, so many multiples of 3s happening in this show. They're all going to be seated. It's going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be me, Ed Greer, and Josh McCouga fighting it out.
This is going to be a good fight.
On some-
This is going to be a really good fight. I'm excited.
It's going to be a good one. I feel like, we're keeping some things that we thought really worked, and we're losing some things that everyone thought really, really didn't. And I think this is going to be a good show. This is going to be a good mix of stuff. We'll see you guys there. You guys excited about the new movie fights?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just glad I don't have to stand anymore.
Oh,
My poor
legs
calves.
overrated.
Yeah, jeez. Dan,
yes,
how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, just in general. As the host of
right.
SJU, I have to ask you something esoteric.
Okay. I'm well.
Excellent.
Yeah, no.
Guys, we're all well, and we're going to leave you with this super cool pump up for movie fights today. Enjoy. We'll see you at 4.